Hello, it's Dr Bobby Sura here, consultant clinical psychologist, systemic psychotherapist at Solihull Wellbeing Clinic. Continuing the series on how we can change negative mental patterns. Today I'm out walking in Solihull with my dog Rolo, as usual. And these are moments where I, in an unscripted kind of way, like to just share some thoughts and sentiments just to help people along, because our mental health is so key to relationships, to work productivity, to our health. People talk about how depression, anxiety, 1 in 4 people in today's day and age may struggle with their mental and emotional health. And life is far too precious, I think, to struggle in that way. And if you can find some remedies, if you can find a way forwards, I'm always one to try and support and encourage people along that path. Now, I appreciate that some people say, how can changing your thoughts really impact upon those very difficult circumstances that we may be going through. And I really get that. Life can be difficult, can be challenging. But I always come back to a very special quotation that I keep in mind, which is, experience isn't what happens to us, it's what we do with what happens to us. How we approach it, our attitude, our way of thinking. Regardless of our circumstances, regardless of what may be happening in our lives, we still have to find a way through, and we have to face them. I remember a very helpful story that I often use with my client groups, people I see. And it's about a professor that hands out to all members of his class some pieces of paper and says to them, write down your problems. Write them down, as many as you can think of right now, the things that are troubling you, that you spend your mind thinking about, your time thinking upon. And then fold up the piece of paper and put it away in the envelope. And they do so. The teacher collects in the papers. It's clearly a philosophy or psychology class, I would imagine. And then 6 months down the line, later on in that term or that semester, the teacher hands back the envelopes to the students that had written their thoughts, their worries down. And he asks them all to open up the pieces of paper and have a look at their lists. And as they look, some students recognize some of the problems that they had written down. But there are other problems in almost every list where they think, my goodness, did I even write that? Did I put that down? I don't remember that. And then there are some issues that the students see, and they acknowledge that yes, they were problems historically, but for one reason or another, maybe through their efforts, through their work, they've managed to resolve them. And when the class has a conversation, a discussion about that, the teacher impresses upon the students that this task teaches us a lot about the nature of our problems. Many things come and go, many things happen, come to pass. It's how we work through them, how we travel through those landscapes that makes the difference, and nothing is here to stay. The most difficult and troubling times will pass us by, and so will the happiest and the most glorious and most ecstatic circumstances and events pass us by. So the key is to keep going. Be situated in the present and move forwards. That's one of the tips I will give you for today. It's a lot like that 8th century sentiments shared by Shantideva, who was a Buddhist sage. And he said, if you have difficulties and problems and you can do something about it, then why be dejected? And if you have difficulties and problems and there's really nothing you can do about it, why be dejected? It's an interesting thought, is it not? And to share another thought or well-being tip with you, the power of gratitude. We've all heard, I would imagine, about gratitude journaling, about thinking about what is in your life that you can appreciate, maybe even celebrate. Because our mind can only really focus on one thing, one predicament, one sentiment at a time. It may be that we can multitask, we can move from one activity to another, but actually the mind is working within one domain, one frequency at any one time, and it switches between them. But if we can think about what we can be thankful for, what we can appreciate, that will make a huge difference to the way we feel. Now, many people jot down in a gratitude journal what they have to be thankful for, what they've enjoyed, what they've appreciated, what good has come into their life, and what good they may have shared out to others in the course of the day. And even focusing on 2 or 3 sentiments of that kind, 2 or 3 experiences of that kind, can do a great deal to reduce the sense of hopelessness, of darkness, of negativity in our lives. Because positivity and gratitude is a fantastic antidote for depression and anxiety. And my third and final tip for today, because 3 is a lovely number. You know, it takes 3 weeks. If you go without food, you can survive. 3 days without water. 3 minutes without breath. 3 is a very, very important number. So my third tip of the day for you is this: every day, try to do something that makes your heart sing. Engage with some activity, some leisure activity, some pastime, some hobby. Even if it's reading, listening to music, even if it's contacting friends, going for a walk, whether it's having a bath, a shower, visiting the gym, preparing a healthy and beautiful meal for yourself, or just engaging in some act of kindness or generosity towards another. And when we engage in positive behaviours and actions, because the tripartite model of cognitive behaviour therapy tells us that our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are intimately connected with one another. If we do positive things, we call it behavioural activation, and then our thoughts become that much lighter and more positive. And when our thoughts about ourselves and our lives become more positive, our feelings can do nothing but follow. So there are a few short tips for today. I hope that's been helpful, and I will share more with you in the coming episodes. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye bye now.